It started as a normal night. Precious was still up late, working on something when her mother called out to her. "Precious, are you still up? Look, you need to finish up with what you're doing and go to bed," her mother said. "I know, Mom. I'm almost done." "Just a few more minutes," Precious replied. "It's late already, Precious. You have 5 minutes, so hurry up." "Okay, Mom." Just then, a loud crack echoed through the house. "Mom, did you hear that?" Precious said. "Hear what?" her mum replied. "Just the thunder strike," Precious said, "I guess." Her mum replied, "And that's more reason you need to get to bed on time." "Okay, Mom." As Precious prepared for bed, she heard a whisper in the dark. "Precious, I want us to play a game." Her mum said. "Game?" "Mm-hmm." "Okay, what kind of game?" "You're going to love it." Her mum replied, "Take a guess." "I cannot really guess, Mom. You know I'm not a game person." "Okay, it's fine. It's going to go like this. You would stretch out your hand and close your eyes." "But why should I close my eyes?" "Because you have to. That's the rules of the game." "Is it closed, Mom?" "Mm-hmm. Are you sure?" "Yes, Mom. You're cheating." No, it's closed." Suddenly, Precious felt something cold. Her eyes flew open to see her mother holding a knife. "Mom, what kind of game is this?" Precious asked. "Let's call it Game of Thrones, but played in another way," her mother said, smiling. No, I don't play that kind of game. You don't play with sharp objects, Precious." Terror filled her voice. "Trust me, it's just a game with a knife. Look, just trust me, okay? I mean, why would I want to hurt you?" "I will never..." "You're not someone that is playing that game with knife. Knife is a sharp object. I don't know what kind of game you want to play with the knife, Precious." Her mom said, "Baby, look, I would never ever..." "Yeah, let's play the game. Stretch your hand out properly, like this." Precious backed away. "I'm not playing that kind of game with you." "Precious, are you talking to your mother like that?" "Because I know you're not. Please, I just want to give you a chance. I'm not playing. Mom, stop this. What is it now?" "I'm not playing. I don't want to play with you again." "You have to play with me." Precious ran and locked herself in her room. "Precious, darling, please open the door," her mother called, her voice eerily sweet. "What's going on?" "Jesus Christ," Precious said. "Baby, open the door for Mommy. Please open the door. Baby, open the door for Mommy. You want to kill me, Mom." "Kill you? Why would I never do that? I just want us to have a conversation." "Have a word with a knife?" Precious asked. "Come on, baby, I'm not... It's just me. Open the door for me. Let's have a conversation, you know." Precious, trembling, called out, "Are you sure that it is you, Mom?" "Baby, who else is in the house? It's just me and you. Just open the door, okay?" "So what's my second name?" "Precious, why would you be asking me all those questions? Of course, I gave birth to you. Your second name is Amara. What gift did you get for me last year's birthday?" "My darling, I got you a pet dog, what you've always wanted." "Enough with these questions. Just open the door, my darling. Just promise you won't hurt me." "I would never do that. Open the door, baby." "Okay. Please. Precious. My darling." That night, Precious learned to be strong, to survive. She wasn't alone. Other children in the neighborhood experienced similar terrors. Their parents, seemingly normal during the day and transformed into monsters at night. The next morning, the news broke. Earlier this morning, a woman was arrested for a brutal attack on her own daughter with a machete. The suspect, identified as Mrs. Grace, a resident of Love Estate, has been linked to chronic alcoholism with several past incidents of violent behavior. But this was just the beginning. All across Love Estate, as night fell, parents began to change, and their children learned to survive, night after night, in what was once called home, sweet home. When morning came, the parents would act as if nothing had happened, leaving their children to question their own sanity. But they all knew, that when darkness fell again, they would need to be ready. Ready to hide, ready to run, ready to survive those nights. One afternoon, as Precious walked home from school with Desmond, they noticed a commotion near the estate entrance. A new family was moving in. "Hello, sir," a woman was saying to the security guard. "I'm very sorry, sir. I just moved into my new house at Love Estate." Precious and Desmond exchanged worried glances. They wanted to warn the new family, but who would believe children? talking about parents turning into monsters at night. Back at home, Precious found her parents arguing in the living room. "I've transferred this money to your account," her father was saying. "I said I did not get an alert," her mother snapped back. "Honey, do me a favor, check your mobile app." "Mobile app? Am I not supposed to get a text message on my phone?" From the doorway, Precious watched as her parents' voices grew louder. "Mama, she have started fighting again, every day like this." "Can you stop this?" her father pleaded. "If I didn't forget a document in this house, would you see me now?" Her mother's face twisted with anger. "Look at my face. You want to give me another one? Oh, this one is not enough for you. I've done this transfer. Please leave me alone." "Leave you alone? How?" Precious cleared her throat. "Good afternoon." Her parents turned, their faces instantly transforming into warm smiles. "Good afternoon," her father said. "See, your children are here. See what you're doing." "Your father is supposed to send me our upkeep, and I did not get an alert," her mother explained. "Trust me, the upkeep of this family is my priority," her father insisted. Precious suggested carefully, "Mama, why not check your bank app? Maybe it's network." "My friend, will you keep quiet? Am I dumb? What do you know?" After checking the app and finding the money, her mother's anger dissipated as quickly as it had appeared. But Precious knew better now. The real horror would begin after sunset. That evening, her father tried to make amends. "My princess, you see, I know I have not been around most of the times, but trust me, this weekend we're spending it together. That's not enough for me. That's my babies. I promised to spend this whole weekend with you girls. But for now, I have to run. Your mom has taken 30 minutes of my time. I forgot documents, so I'm rushing back to the office immediately." After he left, her mother announced, "Anyways, girls, food is in the fridge. I'm going out and I will be late." Alone in the house, Precious and her sister tried to distract themselves with television, but as darkness crept in, their anxiety grew. "It's late already. We should really be sleeping," her sister whispered. "What if she's out with someone? She left us here and we can't sleep. I'm tired of all this." They heard the front door open. "That's her," her sister breathed. There was a moment of silence, then the sound of footsteps. Different footsteps. Wrong footsteps. "Just open it," Precious said, her voice trembling. But when they opened the door, they knew immediately that their mother wasn't herself anymore. Her eyes were different. Empty. Hungry. "What took you so long to open the door?" she asked, her voice unnaturally calm. "We were watching TV, Mom," Precious's sister answered. "I'm sorry, we were watching TV," Precious added quickly. "While I was standing outside for hours." Their mother's voice dropped to a growl. "Mom, what hours?" "We heard your knocking just now, and she ran there to open the door." Their mother's hand moved, revealing what she'd been hiding behind her back. A machete. "The one with the sharp tongue. Where are you running to?" "Mom, what is going on?" "What is going on is that I want to deal with both of you. Even if you want to deal with us, you can just give us punishment or flog us." "What is this, Mom? Why are you holding a bottle?" "Just to kill you." "Yes, that is exactly what I want to do. I want to kill both of you, so that when your father comes in, he will meet you in the pool of your own blood. Come here." The girls ran, their mother's footsteps thundering behind them. They barely made it to their room, slamming and locking the door just in time. "Open this door, open the door." Their mother's voice alternated between sweet and savage as she pounded on the door. "Baby, open the door. I want to talk to you." "I'm already sleeping now," Precious called out, trying to keep her voice steady. "Sweetheart, what is this? I'm just sleeping. Let me sleep." Her words became increasingly disjointed, inhuman. And as the night wore on, Precious and her sister huddled together in the dark, counting the hours until sunrise, when their mother would return to normal, until the next nightfall, when the horror would begin again. In Love Estate, the nights had become a nightmare, and the children were learning that sometimes the monsters don't hide under the bed. Sometimes they're the ones who tuck you in at night. One morning at the estate, a stranger appeared, asking for someone named Uncle Israel. Uncle is... I don't understand. Why would you enter my house and be shouting?" A woman's voice interrupted. "Your house? I'm not shouting. I'm calling somebody." Uncle, I'm talking to you. You're still shouting. I'm not shouting. I'm looking for the owner of the house. Excuse you, what? What do you mean you're looking for the owner of the house? Israel, hearing the commotion, finally emerged. Tell you what to know, that your girlfriend is misbehaving. Excuse you, what? Girlfriend? The stranger looked bewildered. Oh, okay. You have not even balanced girlfriend. You're dreaming of wife. Israel laughed. Sit down, Israel said, recognizing the visitor. Uncle Israel, I came to tell you something. Your girlfriend was just shouting at me. I don't understand. Israel, who is she? This is our neighbor's child. Don't worry, this is my younger sister Isa. Oh, okay. When I came and I saw the resemblance. The visitor paused, then continued more urgently. Something is happening. Something is happening in this estate. My life and that of my friends are at risk. How? You don't understand. There's this scary thing that happens at night. Meanwhile, at the local shop, Adela stood motionless before the television, ignoring customers. How come I'm not aware that we are out of stock? Her manager asked, entering the shop. Adela, what's going on? Why are you not watching TV? At home, two siblings sat in silence, listening to their parents fight again. Why does it always have to be like this? One whispered. I'm so tired of their fighting every single day. I miss Mom. I miss her too. Things just feel so wrong without her. At the pharmacy, Desmond nursed his injured hand while the pharmacist lectured him. Next time, always tell me in time, okay? Yes, but don't worry. I'll just make an order now. It's late already. Please get ready so that we can close. Desmond, the pharmacist continued, examining his hand. How is your hand? It's fine. God, look at. I have told you everything is not fight. Look at your hand. This attitude is getting too much. Fighting people that are older than you in the middle of the street. It's even scary. Let's go home so I can take care of this. That night, as darkness fell across Love Estate, the transformation began again. In one house, a mother approached her daughter's room. Hello, sweetheart. Yes. It's almost 10 p.m. You need to go and sleep. Can't I just finish this? You have school tomorrow, my darling. Get up, please. Get up. It was almost 10. School, remember? Okay, Mom. Good night. Good night, my darling. I love you. I love you too. But as the daughter drifted off to sleep, her mother's footsteps returned, heavier this time. Different. The knocking on the door was no longer gentle. What took you so long to open the door? We were watching TV, Mom. I'm sorry, you were watching TV while I was standing outside for hours. Her voice changed, becoming something inhuman. The one with the sharp tongue, where are you running to? Open the door. How? Nothing like that will happen tomorrow. Across the estate, children barricaded themselves in their rooms, listening to their parents transform. Some prayed, some cried. Some simply waited in silence. They all knew the truth now. Love Estate had become a nightmare, and they were the only ones who could see it. During the day, their parents went about their normal lives, working, shopping, arguing about money, showing love to their children. But at night, they became something else entirely. And as the children of Love Estate huddled in their safe rooms, they wondered, how long could they survive? How many more nights would they have to endure? And most importantly, what was happening to their parents when the sun went down? The answers would come soon enough, but they wouldn't like what they discovered. The next morning, Precious and her classmates gathered in hushed groups before their first class. The empty desk where Boo once sat seemed to mock them. Did you hear about the new family? Desmond whispered to Precious. Yes, they moved in yesterday. Do you think we should? Their conversation was cut short as their teacher entered, her face ashen. Children, I need your attention. There's been another incident. The class fell silent, knowing what was coming. Another of your classmates. Happiness? The teacher's voice cracked. Happiness won't be joining us anymore. 2 empty desks now. The children exchanged knowing glances. They had heard the screams from Happiness's house the night before, but no one had dared to intervene. After school, Precious overheard 2 police officers talking near the estate gate. It's spreading, one said. First Grace's incident, now this. Something's not right in Love Estate. The parents all say the same thing. They don't remember anything. Clean blackouts every night. And the children, they know something, but they're too scared to talk. That evening, as sunset approached, Precious found a note slipped under her door. Meeting. Old playground. 4 p.m. tomorrow. Bring others. We need to talk. The next day, a group of children gathered at the abandoned playground. Desmond stood in the center, his bandaged hand clutching a notebook. "I've been keeping track," he said. "It's not random. The parents, they change exactly at 10 p.m. every night, and it's spreading, house by house, family by family." "But why?" someone asked. "I think I know," a quiet voice said. Everyone turned to see Sarah, one of the newer residents. It started after they built that new factory on the outskirts, the one that makes sleeping pills. "What do you mean?" "My dad works there. He said there was an accident last month. Something leaked into the water supply, but they covered it up." "But why only the parents? Why not us?" "Because," Precious realized, "they're the ones taking sleeping pills. All our parents have trouble sleeping. Remember the prescriptions?" A collective gasp went through the group as the pieces fell into place. "So what do we do?" someone asked. "We need to." Desmond started but stopped as a shadow fell over the playground. "What are you children doing here?" It was Mr. Thompson, the security guard. His eyes looked strange, unfocused. "But it's not even dark yet," Precious whispered. "The timing's changing," Desmond replied, backing away. "Run!" The children scattered as Mr. Thompson lurched forward, his movements jerky and unnatural. His face began to twist, transforming in broad daylight. Back home, Precious found her mother in the kitchen, humming as she cooked dinner. "Precious, perfect timing. I made your favorite." But Precious noticed the empty pill bottle on the counter, and next to it, a glass of water, half drunk. "Mum, don't." Her mother turned, and Precious saw it happening. The change she'd only witnessed at night, now occurring in the fading afternoon light. "Precious, darling," her mother said, her voice distorting, "why don't you join me for a game?" In her hand, a kitchen knife gleamed. Precious backed away from her mother, her eyes fixed on the kitchen knife. "Mom, please. It's still daylight. You can fight this." Her mother's face twitched, features contorting between normal and monstrous. "The pills," she managed to say through gritted teeth. "They're in the water. Mom, run!" her mother screamed, before her eyes glazed over completely. The knife clattered to the floor as she gripped the kitchen counter, her knuckles white. Precious didn't wait. She ran to her room, grabbing her phone and dialing Desmond's number. "It's happening," she gasped. "The transformations, they're not waiting for night anymore." "I know," Desmond replied urgently. "Meet me at the factory. Sarah's dad gave us blueprints. We might have a chance to stop this." A crash echoed from downstairs. "Precious," her mother's voice called, "no longer human. Come play with Mommy." Precious climbed out her window, thankful for all the nights of practice escaping. As she ran through the estate, she saw other children doing the same, climbing, running, hiding. The adults were changing everywhere. At the factory gates, she found Desmond with a small group of children, including Sarah. "The contaminated water supply feeds directly into Love Estate," Sarah explained, pointing to a map. "But there's a main valve, if we can shut it off." "But our parents still need water," someone protested. "My uncle works at the water treatment plant in the next town," another kid said. "He can help redirect clean water to us, but we need time." A scream pierced the air. In the distance, they could see adults stumbling toward them, moving with that terrible, unnatural gait. "Quick, inside." Desmond led them through a side door Sarah's father had left unlocked. The factory was a maze of pipes and machinery. Their footsteps echoed on metal walkways as they searched for the main valve. Behind them, they could hear doors banging open, twisted voices calling out. "There." Sarah pointed to a large wheel valve marked main supply. "It's too stiff." Desmond strained against it. "I can't turn it." "Together." Precious joined him, then others. Slowly, the valve began to move. "Stop them." The factory manager appeared at the end of the walkway, his face already transformed. Behind him, other adults were gathering. "Keep turning," Precious shouted. "Don't stop." The valve groaned, then suddenly gave way. Water pressure gauges began dropping. "No!" the manager screamed, lurching forward. But something was happening to the transformed adults. They stumbled, clutching their heads. Some fell to their knees. "Look," Sarah pointed at the manager. His face was changing back. The water pressure, she realized, without it pushing more contaminated water into their systems. One by one, the adults began returning to normal, looking around in confusion. Where am I?" Precious's mother appeared at the doorway, her eyes clear again. "Mom." Precious ran to her. "Precious, what's happening?" "The last thing I remember." "It's okay now, Mom. It's over." But Sarah was frowning at the blueprints. "Maybe not." "Look, there's a secondary supply line. And according to these notes, they're planning to expand distribution to other estates." The children looked at each other. They had won this battle, but the war wasn't over. Somewhere in the darkness, someone was deliberately poisoning the water, turning parents against their children, and only they knew the truth. "So what do we do now?" Desmond asked. Precious stood up straighter. "We fight, and this time we're not alone." She looked at her mother. "Right?" Her mother's eyes widened as memories of the past weeks began filtering back. Oh God, what they made us do, what they were planning. She pulled Precious close. "Yes, this time we fight together." But in the shadows of the factory, a figure watched, speaking quietly into a phone. "Sir, we have a problem. The children, they know." The following days at Love Estate were filled with tense conversations and tearful reconciliations. Parents struggled to cope with memories of what they'd done, while children dealt with lingering trauma. But at least they were facing it together now. In Precious's living room, parents and children gathered for an emergency meeting. "I've analyzed the water samples," Sarah's father said, his hands shaking slightly. "The compound is like nothing I've seen before. It targets the brain's fear response, turning it against those we love most." "But why?" Mrs. Thompson asked, holding her daughter close. "Who would do this?" "I think I know," Desmond's father spoke up. He pulled out his phone, showing them a news article. "Look at this. Over the past year, similar incidents have been reported in other cities, always in small communities, always targeting parents. The media blamed it on stress, mental health issues, mass hysteria. They were testing it," Precious realized. Love Estate was just another test. A knock at the door made everyone freeze. Old fears died hard. But when they opened it, they found Uncle Israel, looking grave. "You need to see this," he said, handing them a USB drive. "I work in city planning. These are the water supply plans for the next 5 years. They're building similar factories in every major city." The room erupted in worried whispers. Sarah's father plugged in the drive, projecting the files on the wall. Maps, chemical formulas, project timelines, it was all there. "Look at the company behind these factories," he pointed. "Morpheus Pharmaceuticals." "The sleeping pill manufacturer?" Precious's mother gasped. "Not just sleeping pills," Sarah added. "They make all sorts of behavior modification drugs. My dad said their real research happens underground in secret labs." Suddenly, the lights went out. In the darkness, they heard vehicles pulling up outside. "Everyone quick! To the basement," Uncle Israel commanded. They barely made it down before the front door burst open. Through the basement vents, they could hear footsteps above. "Clear the house," a stern voice ordered. "The targets have been exposed to the antidote. Project Morpheus is compromised." "Sir, we found documents. They know about the expansion plans." "Initiate Protocol 0. No witnesses." In the basement, parents and children huddled together in the dark. Sarah's father was frantically typing on his laptop. "I'm uploading everything to every news outlet I can find," he whispered. "They can't cover this up if the whole world knows." "We're too late," another voice said from the shadows. Everyone turned to see Mr. Thompson, the security guard, emerging from a hidden corner. But his face was different now, purposeful, alert. "I've been undercover for months," he explained quickly. "Federal investigation. We've been tracking Morpheus Pharmaceuticals, but we never imagined it went this far." More footsteps above. The basement door handle began to turn. "There's a tunnel," Mr. Thompson said, moving to a wall and pressing hidden switches. "It was built during the Civil War. It leads to the old church outside the estate." The wall slid open, revealing a dark passage. "Go. I'll hold them off." But Precious started, "Go!" And Precious. He handed her a small device. "This contains everything we have on Morpheus. Names, locations, their real plans. Get it to the media. The world needs to know." As they hurried into the tunnel, Precious looked back one last time. Mr. Thompson stood ready, his badge glinting in the dim light. Above, they could hear the basement door opening. The tunnel was long and dark, lit only by their phone lights. Behind them, they heard shouting, then gunshots. "Don't look back," Precious's mother said, squeezing her hand. "Just run." But they all knew this wasn't over. Somewhere above, Morpheus Pharmaceuticals was still proceeding with their plans. More families would be torn apart, more children terrorized. Unless they could stop it. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you've learned from the tale. If you want the story to continue, write part 2, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tales, just like this one. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that. Take good care of yourself.